Hey folks, well listen, we are now putting this out on our first time on our ever new YouTube channel. So welcome to Mythborn Live 24/7 365. I definitely am going to talk about Mythborn today, but I hope to also talk to you guys about many things, not just Mythborn. And I'm super excited to sort of bring this to this channel. As you can see, I got my camera fixed. I think the resolution is amazing. I'm hoping that you guys are hearing sound. I'll know after this broadcast is over, but I'm pretty sure it's working. And I'm just excited to be on the channel. Please hit the subscribe button. I think it's over here. And you know what? Let's get started. I want to let you guys know what all's going on because there's a lot of news to tell, and I'm excited. So okay, let's see. I will be at the Barnes & Noble in Rockville. I'll get an exact location, but the date looks to be probably October 20th. And I wanted to let everybody know because I'm super excited. I'll be there for a book signing. So if you're in the DC metro area and you want to get, a book and have it signed by me and we all meet and shake hands and talk games and movies and Mythborn and all the rest, I will be there. I will be pretty excited to meet you. So I hope you can make it. Again, that'll be the Barnes & Noble. It'll be in Rockville. And I will figure out all the exact information and start posting it up for you guys. But this is sort of our first couple of announcements happening. They're starting now. Also, I will be at Baltimore Comic-Con, and that is September 29th and 30th. So I'm pretty excited to be showing up there. We will be, hopefully, I think I might be speaking there. We'll find out pretty soon. But right now, if we get a chance, I'll be speaking at the various cons about probably gaming and writing and how those intersect. Some of the techniques we use in video game development to maintain a level of creativity when we don't necessarily feel creative. Also, how to go about with certain tools and tricks of the trade that make you a better writer, I think. Also helps you hone in on the actual idea you're trying to convey. It's a very difficult thing to ask a designer, oh, go and now be creative. It doesn't happen as easily as that. So there are a lot of ways in which I found some of my friends who are amazing designers and myself and ways in which I've been taught that I want to share with you guys on how people go about sort of cutting up the problem so that they can be creative in a more consistent fashion. So hopefully that will be something we talk about at Baltimore Comic-Con, and I hope you guys can make it there September 28th, 29th, at the end of the month. And final bit of housekeeping, good news. So the audiobook got approved. It is headed to retail. It's I just checked before I got on here on ACX and on Amazon, and it says headed to retail. So it must be going through its final conversion processes or whatever, but so far, no red flags. It should be up and available for purchase. Not at this very moment because I literally just checked, but maybe by the end of today or tomorrow. So if you've been looking for a 20-hour plus fantasy adventure read by Michael Kramer, who is just amazing, and you do a lot of driving, or you're one of those people that just likes to close your eyes and listen, man, this guy is an awesome storyteller, and he made me want to listen to my own book again, and I have read that book. I don't even know, hundreds of times I've read it now at this point, or at least parts of it. So I hope you guys get a chance to pick up the audiobook. Again, if you join Audible, if you're not part of Audible, please do it from our website. Hit our little link to there, and we'll get a little cred for that. Also, any way in which you can like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel here, join us, in general. We'll be really excited to have you guys as fans. And by joining us, I get a chance to stay in touch with you. And that's the whole reason I'd like to do this. So it's really cool. All right, what's today's topic? Well, as you guys know, we tried to start to split up Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday was going to be weird paranormal day, and other things VJ is researching and influences on Mythborn. And today was going to be more of like Mythborn stuff, specific Mythborn stuff. So in light of that, I'm going to be following through on some stuff to tell you guys about Mythborn. Let me just check. Oh, and I know I owe quarters for saying So I'm going to do that on Tuesdays just because the jar is heavy and I owe a lot of ums. And so I just thought I'd get through with it one time. But if you guys really want to see me do it before every episode, I'm happy to do that. You're just going to see me slowly become poorer while my 5-year-old son probably goes out and buys himself something amazing and flaunts it at me. Just did it again. Okay, I'm gonna ignore that for a little bit. I'm gonna focus on talking to you guys, and if I have the bad habit of saying I will get over it as the cash slowly drains out of my pockets. So we are going to talk today about Mythborn 4. For those of you guys who know, I have been working on Mythborn 4 super hard. For those of you who were my original fans back in 2011 and 12, when I released Mythborn initially, some of you guys really, like, you stuck by me and helped me get to the point where I'm at now with, a professionally edited version and tied up loose ends, cleaned things up. But back then, those 2 books essentially equaled a little less than the 3 books that are out now. The 3 books that are out now are actually longer because there's more content, but really a lot of that content is background, world building, things that the book really needed, the first version really needed. It adds a lot more personality to the characters. It adds a lot more weaknesses. One of the early feedbacks I got about Mythborn was that, everybody was a noble something, a noble thief, a noble villain, a noble mage, a noble this, a noble that. Everyone was sort of, good in their own way. And I really took that to heart. I realized as I read through it, I had some characters that I thought I was hitting their weakness, but actually what I was doing, and this is very true for many writers when they first start out, you write everyone so that they are a character you like in a weird way. Like, I would write a character and I would get I'd get uncomfortable when they got to be either whiny or, not courageous, not knightly, not saintly, not, whatever I felt uncomfortable with. And so I would tone them down a little in those directions. And what I realized was actually my writing is more true, and this happens in the relaunch of the books. My writing is much more true when I actually write people that I don't like, and when I write the characters that I don't like. So I spent a lot of time in rewriting these characters and giving them real weaknesses and things that I just didn't really particularly like about them in some ways. And so I knew I was doing well when I was feeling uncomfortable. Now, one caveat on that is I did less changes in book 1 because there was so much world building there. And I really got into characters in books 2 and 3. So, and also my craft got honed better and better. So by book 3, these characters, their backstories are really interesting. And I had this perfect vehicle for showing off these new parts of who they are, because I am able to flashback to earlier times and sort of pull facts forward that have new relevance. So I'm not quite retconning anything. I recognize that it's easy to sort of redo stuff to have it have some more significance. But what I really wanted to do was add the things that made me uncomfortable and then where they needed to be, but carry a minimal hand. I didn't want to just chop the whole books up. And as I was writing, make it a conscious effort to be more and more true to the character and less true to my like or dislike of the character. So what you see by the time I get to about halfway through book 2 and definitely through book 3 these characters are very interesting. I think very complex and interesting people. Now, they're not War and Peace, and I would never be accused of having written the next fictional literature for American literature, and that wasn't what I was setting out to do. I was setting out to write a book that reads like a movie and is fun. It has a nice romp. It's interesting, and it takes you to great places, and it doesn't bog you down with a ton of things. Like, it has to be light, easy reading that's fun, but also treats you like an intelligent reader. I didn't, want to have a bunch of MacGuffins and, easy fixes to things, but I also didn't want to get deep into the psychology of evil, and not yet. I have plans for things like that. So Mythborn has not only been a learning experience for me back in early 2011 and 12, but then a constant improvement, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 5 years later, 2018, I relaunched them. I still don't think they're the best of my writing that I can do, but they're very good, and I think you guys will really see the improvement as you read each book, go through, because I go back, and just so you know, when things happen and I really feel it, and I know that I can fix something, I go back and fix the initial books. And for those of you who buy the ebooks, you'll get an update at least Amazon tells me you'll get an update that fixes those aspects. So you'll see a constantly improving book that has love and care and attention to it, because I'm setting up a world here that has a lot more to do than just Eden and magic. There's an entire galaxy of things going on that I want to get to when I start writing the next series called Techborn, and tentatively called Techborn. So let's get to book 4. So I've been spending a lot of time on book 4. I'm currently at 88,100 words. My plan is to get to just wherever I can get to a good stopping point, around 100,000 words, so I can get it out to you guys. So 12,000 words for me is, 2 weeks of writing. So I need to just sort of focus. What I'm spending a lot of time doing now is I have made it an effort to close some threads from books 1, 2, and 3, and then really focus in on a few characters that matter and a few situations that matter in book 4. So let me set this up. And I wanted to go through all this for you, those of you who've listened up till now, because I might have spoilers at this point going forward. But in general, I'll try and treat my spoilers about as bad as what you might see if you went to a movie trailer. I'll not give away anything crazy. I might, though, spoil some of the endings for books 1, 2, and 3. I'm trying my best not to, though. So when we start book 4, we have the party of Sylvain and his crew looking for Eric and Niall, who disappeared into Lilith's realm of Arcadia. And at the end of book 3, Lilith, the world is falling apart. Eric has released that dark contagion within him. The Nephilim are multiplying. Every Eris they touch, they take over, like zombify almost. It's a spreading pestilence, and there's a havoc has ensued. And for the first time, Eric meets Sovereign, and to some extent, Sovereign leaves him in the world of Arcadia to die. So book 4 starts with Eric and Niall separated now. Niall is essentially taken over the Galadine elves and Valerius Galadine and his elves. He's taken that over and has been mentored by his forefather Valerius Galadine. He has embraced in a Joffrey-esque way, just channeling a little Game of Thrones. In a Joffrey-esque way, he's embraced the petulant side of rule. I had a lot of various things to draw upon given our current situation, but I looked at what different authors have done. Again, here's a character that just made me uncomfortable writing his part, but now I feel like I'm really getting into who he is and why he is who he is. And it doesn't make me feel good when I write him, but it is fun reading. So you have Niall on his track. and you have Eric on his track, and you have Yateji on her track. The three have separated, and Eric and I take that back. I'm sorry. Eric and Yateji are together, and they meet up with Sylvain and the company from Eden, who've come to try and rescue them from the demon world. So here we are. The party needs to find a gate to get back to Eden, and the only person who controls gates is Lilith, as far as they know. And so Lilith has left them to die there as well. But there is knowledge of within the party, and I keep saying party because I don't want to necessarily give away who lived and who died at the end of book 3 if you haven't read it yet. So I'll just say Sylvain's party. You can assume Sylvain is still there, or maybe not. And you can assume that, Eric is still there. I mean, he's one of the main characters. So Eric, Niall, and Yateji, no surprise that they're still alive. And if you can see behind me, that's Niall on the far left, and then Eric in the middle, and then Yateji on the far right. It's funny for me because I have to do this backwards because my screen is actually reversed. But when it comes up on YouTube, it'll be the right way. I figured that out too, by the way, if you guys saw on Tuesday. So it's backwards for me, but it goes forward for you guys. Anyways, so they have to get out of the world, and they find a quest that has to do with negotiating with an ancient celestial called Zephyr. Now, for those of you who do any kind of archaeological, biblical archaeology, I do quite a bit of reading of various things. You go back, and Zephyr is actually held in the very oldest Hebrew Testaments, and you can look it up for who you think he is, Zafir. But in the book, he is the Lord of the East Gate, and he is dangerous. But here's the funny thing: his manifestation in this world, his being in this world, he is actually ancient friends with both Lilith and with Eric's Eris Lord. And I won't go into who that is, but Eric's Lord is actually friends with Zephyr and Lilith. So what's interesting is Zephyr doesn't see Eric as Eric. He sees Eric as the skin his friend is wearing. Much like if you guys watched Altered Carbon, think of these Eris wearing different skins the same way that in Altered Carbon by Richard K. Morgan, and the Netflix thing was fantastic, by the way. But read that, the Takashi Kovacs novels. These guys basically transfer their consciousness to new bodies, and these bodies are fully biological skins that they wear, and they wear these skins, and they can live essentially forever. So same kind of thought process here. These Eris, they're just inhabiting another skin, and to them, who cares what skin you're wearing? You're still my friend. If I've known you for 10,000 years, you're my friend, right? And or maybe not, maybe you're my enemy. But the point is, I've known you for 10,000 years. What you wear on the outside doesn't matter to me. So you have Zephyr greeting Sylvain's party and agreeing to assist him in reopening the East Gate. Remember, he's been left here to die too by Lilith. So they all have to work together to get out. But Zephyr's price is deep. And when you read the book, you'll see what he wants and what he gets. And it is a price that you would ask for if you were him for his people. But there's one of these flips of the coin again where you have to decide, is it more important that, hundreds of beings that are under Eric's protection live, or that hundreds of beings under Zephyr's protection live? Only one of them can. And so the decision has to be made, and a sacrifice has to be made. And what's interesting is, in order to open the East Gate, they have to find the Seraphim of Thoth. And if you remember from the first books, Thoth was the keeper, right? He kept all the knowledge that was given to Geridian, that's given to all these different mages and adepts and people. So Thoth, the Library of Thoth, the Seraphim of Thoth, is hidden, and I always picture sort of like the lost Library of Alexandria, but with much more interesting things in it big, text and stuff. So when you go into this thing, you find out that the Lost Seraphim has a gate in it, but that gate needs to be activated using something called the Cipher. And what is really interesting is if you read in the end of the book, Alien Death has been dispatched to kill Duncan at the end of book 3, and she has found him. And what ends up happening is we go in book 4 to when Alien Death was just cursed by Duncan, but not yet an undead knight of Lilith. She's in between, and it's her quest to find. It's how she found the Cipher the first time. She knows what it is. She knows how to get it. But if she finds it, it means she's saving Duncan, the guy who cursed her, and she's saving Eris, who she intrinsically hates, because as a mage hunter, she hunted these Eris, and for Lilith's pleasure, Alien Death was kept alive and transformed into this Eris-type being so that she could live out eternity as the thing she hates most. So now she has the secret of the Cipher. She knows how to get it back. She knows where to find it. But if she does, she has to help Duncan and Zephyr, another celestial lord of the Eris, and all these people she hates, escape Arcadia. So I would say a good half of the book is spent in the quest into the Seraphim, the knowledge of the ancients, Alien Death, her party, a ranger called Trish, her slaver Maliak, who you met in book 1 when he grabbed Princess Galadine and threw her out there to hunt for other mages. So Maliak and Alien Death are still together. They're joined by Trish, this ranger, and a kid named Pyramus. Pyramus is a strange, he's a college-type educated linguist. And he's brought along because his ability to read all these different ancient languages. He has this talent with a capital T, a magical skill to read things of other languages without ever having seen them before. That's his one talent. And most people with that talent, they become partners to kings, and they are part of the moving and shaking of the world. And you find Pyramus, living in a sewer gutter in Eastwatch, and you have to sort of wonder what brought him there. And as you got to see his background, his mother served on the Tenzer's tents, and you learn more about her background. His father was a legendary hero. So what brought Pyramus to this level, and what will happen as we move things forward? So I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. I don't want to give away too much more than that. Mythborn 4 is quickly drawing to a close. I am working on it all the time. The story is really cool. I think it adds a lot of depth to the world. It adds a lot of depth to the characters. Like I said, my craft is, really hitting its stride when it comes to writing, and I hope you guys appreciate that. And what's really cool is I'm, constantly thinking about the video game. So we're going to see some more information and stuff like that next time when we talk. But in the meantime, please like us on Facebook. Hit the subscribe button, please, and join us. Post your comments, whatever you want to say. And, join us each week. We're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. I'm going to adjust that time, give or take, as we just do a little more testing and see when people are free to join the live broadcast. I know a lot of you guys are at work at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so we might end up doing this in the evenings so that people get a chance to join us. But, hey, thank you for joining. Thank you for seeing this. Comment, and I'll reply. I look forward to you guys joining us on Facebook, on this YouTube channel. And I hope I see you at Baltimore Comic-Con, September 28th, 29th. And I hope if you're in the area, you come to the Barnes & Noble in Rockville and let me sign a book, and you know, we get a chance to meet and greet in person. Take care, guys. I really appreciate everybody joining me. Take care.